Let's take a closer look now at the relationship between China and Israel. For that, I'm joined by Yaki Lopez, live from Los Angeles. He's consul for political affairs at the Consulate General of Israel in Los Angeles. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Rachelle. It's good to be here.
So, Yaki, what are the key areas of bilateral trade and investment that these two countries are cooperating on right now?
There are a wide variety of areas that both countries are cooperating on. One of the key areas is, of course, technology, where Israel excels at. But China has been widely investing in Israel infrastructure in recent years, and the bilateral exchange has risen tremendously over the last 25 years since the reestablishment of relations between the countries.
Now, as we look at technology, how could Israel's growing reputation as a real innovation hub, especially when it comes to startups, how could that help China with its own innovation push?
Well, China's booming economy and growing economy has a large demand for some of that innovation that Israel does have when you look at areas such as water, and when you look at areas such as agriculture, and when you look at infrastructure areas and transportation. Some of the things that Israel, as sort of a smaller economy and smaller hub that has served as sort of a laboratory for innovation and research, when we are able to export some of that to China, it benefits that economy tremendously. And I think that the Chinese government has recognized that, and both countries place a great deal of emphasis on innovation.
And you also mentioned infrastructure. So let's also look at the One Belt, One Road initiative. What sort of opportunities do you think that could open up for Israel?
Well, I think it could open up tremendous opportunities. Given Israel's strategic location in the Middle East, Israel could serve as a hub for Europe, for China. When you look at our location in the region and some of the recent discoveries of natural resources in Israel, in the Mediterranean Sea specifically, some of the gas reserves that Israel has discovered, that could be a great potential for cooperation with China and with the entire infrastructure area that it's trying to create in the region. So the potential is tremendous.
Now, we know that China also invited Israel to join the Asian Investment and Infrastructure Bank. How do you see Israel's role there?
Israel was indeed one of the first countries to join that bank, and Israel can serve as a very significant role in that area, given its leadership in technology and its expertise on finance. And when you look at this visit in the last couple of days, this historic visit by Israel's prime minister, marking 25 years of relations between the two countries, the potential is just tremendous. So we've grown, our bilateral trade has grown tremendously in the last 25 years. So the potential there is just tremendous.
Now, as we look at potential, let's also look at what that means in terms of the future of the workforce. We're seeing this cooperation involving a lot of young people across a range of industries from the two countries, from construction to innovations in the environment. Why do you think that focus on the youth is so significant?
Well, both countries have a young and vibrant population that recognize that innovation is the way to go in the future. And I think that the Chinese government has recognized that Israel can bring a lot of that knowledge base into China, and looking into the future, they can help with training and educating some of the China's future leaders. But that relationship is also, it's a two-way relationship.
Right.
When we look at what China has to bring to the Israel's economy in the last few years, they have brought in a tremendous amount of investments into Israel, and a lot of investments in Israel's tech scene that is largely dominated by a younger workforce in Israel. So that benefits both countries.
And just quickly, as we look at what President Xi said, he said that a peaceful, stable, and developing Middle East meets the common interests of all parties, including China and Israel. Just quickly, tell us how so. Why is that important?
Well, stability in the region is Israel's interest. It will create an atmosphere and a situation for Israel's economy to grow even further, and for bilateral trade between Israel and China, and between Israel and the Far East and Asia. It will create an atmosphere where that trade can increase tremendously. When you were talking about the new beltway that is trying to be built, just imagine the potential that can have when there's regional peace between Israel and its neighbors. There's a great deal of potential when looking into the future.
All right. Well, thank you very much. We'll have to leave it there. Yaki Lopez joining us from Los Angeles, Consul for Political Affairs at the Consulate General of Israel in Los Angeles.